Silent apartment. The apartment building was quiet that December evening, the kind of quiet that seemed to echo. Calvin had never known silence like this before. His first Christmas alone. No chatter from his parents' kitchen, no clinking of mugs, no laughter from his sister. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking of the old wall clock. Outside, snow drifted lazily beneath the glow of street lamps, softening the world into stillness. Calvin sat on the edge of his couch, a small box of decorations open beside him. He'd brought them from home, a few old ornaments, a chipped ceramic angel, and one tiny string of lights that had seen better years. He sighed. Decorating alone didn't feel quite right. Still, he picked up the little light and walked to the window. He hung it gently, its soft yellow glow spilling into the cold night. It wasn't much, but it made the apartment feel less empty, as if that single light could whisper, "Someone lives here." He sat back and stared out into the dark courtyard. Most windows were dark, save for a few flickers from televisions. Then, across the hall, a light turned on. Calvin blinked. The door opposite his opened slightly, and out stepped his neighbour, Mrs. Rivera. A quiet widow in her 60s. They'd exchanged polite nods for months, but never spoken more than a hello. She was holding something small and glowing in her hands, a light of her own. She glanced toward Calvin's window, noticed the soft glow, and smiled faintly. Then, without saying a word, she taped her light in her window too. Calvin watched as her light flickered to life, warm and steady. Their hallway, once dim and cold, now glowed softly with two small beacons facing each other, not bright, but comforting. He smiled, a small, genuine curve that he hadn't felt in weeks. For the first time since moving in, the silence didn't seem so heavy. He poured himself a cup of cocoa, wrapped a blanket around his shoulders, and sat by the window. Every now and then, he looked up to see Mrs. Rivera's light shining quietly across from his own. The next evening, he decided to hang a few paper snowflakes beside his window. When he returned from work, he noticed new decorations across the hall, tiny stars made of foil, reflecting his light back at him. Day by day, the hallway changed. A sprig of pine on her door, a small wreath on his. Two small lights became the start of something gentle, an unspoken companionship, like a conversation without words. On Christmas Eve, Calvin baked a batch of cookies from his mother's old recipe. Nervously, he wrapped some in foil and stepped into the hallway. He knocked softly on Mrs. Rivera's door. She opened it with a smile that carried both surprise and warmth. "Merry Christmas," Calvin said, holding out the cookies. "Oh," she breathed, touched. "How kind of you." "Wait." She turned and came back with a steaming mug. "Hot chocolate. I made too much." They laughed softly, exchanging their small offerings. For a moment, the hallway was filled with the scent of chocolate and sugar and the quiet hum of companionship. Later that night, as they returned to their apartments, the two lights glowed side by side in the corridor, steady and golden. Calvin sat by his window again, sipping the rest of his cocoa. Across the way, Mrs. Rivera's silhouette moved gently behind her curtain, tending to her little Christmas tree. The night was still silent, but no longer empty. The two lights shone through the darkness, quiet reminders that even in the loneliest places, kindness could bridge the space between hearts. And that Christmas, in a small, silent apartment building, no one was truly alone.